In this video for section 5.2, we're going to talk about binomial probabilities. The binomial distribution describes processes whose trials have two possible outcomes. Sometimes we call these success and failure. The number of trials and the probability of success are fixed and are given to us in the problem. We're going to use Minitab to calculate these probability values. So let's look at example 5.4. A major airline believes that 80% of its customers favor changing from assigned seating to choosing seats on a first-come, first-served basis. A random sample of 20 customers is taken. What is the probability that 12 or fewer customers like the proposed change? So let's look at what we are given in the problem. The probability that we are given is 80%. Our random sample is 20 customers. And we want to know the probability that 12 or fewer customers like the proposed change. So we're going to put these into Minitab. Probability is 80%. Our sample size is 20 customers, that's n, and then 12 or fewer customers is what we want to find the probability of. So I'm going to open up Minitab. I'm doing this in Minitab Express, but in Minitab 18, it'll be a similar process. The menus will just look a little bit different. So go to Probability, Distribution Plot, and Display Probability. Now I need to change the distribution here from normal to binomial. Let me pull this down so you can see it. It's all the way at the top. And what I'm going to enter is number of trials. Now that's my total sample size, so that's going to be 20. My event probability was 80%, so 0.80. And we're going to change this from specified probability to specified x value. Now, the question was asking for the probability that 12 or fewer customers like the proposed change. So 12 or fewer means 12 or less. So I'm going to be using left tail because I want to know the probability of numbers 12 or less. And think of this as a number line where smaller numbers are on the left, larger numbers are on the right. So choose left tail, and 12 or fewer means that I enter 12 for my x value. Then I click OK, and the graph pops up. Now what I'm looking for on the graph is there's going to be a shaded area, and if I selected 12 or fewer, that means that it will be on the left side where the shading is. The shading is red, and the number here is going to be my answer. So 0.0321. Generally, the homework is going to ask you to round to 4 decimal places. So the answer I would enter, if this were a homework problem, is 0.0321. So 12 or fewer means that it is left tail, and x value equals 12. So we use Minitab to calculate probability values. Some questions will instead ask us to find the expected value or the standard deviation. For those questions, we do not use Minitab, we use these formulas, and the formulas are pretty simple. For expected value, we do n times p, sample size times probability of a success. So looking at example 5.5, we have our same problem with our airline and a random sample of 20 customers where they believe 80% favor the change. What is the expected number of customers who would like the proposed change? So my expected value is n times p. N here in this case is 20, that's my sample size, and my probability is 80%, so 0.80, and if I multiply those, I get 16. So that's my expected number of customers who would like the proposed change. The standard deviation formula is the square root of n times p times q. N is the sample size, p is probability of success, and q equals 1 minus p. Sometimes we call that the probability of failure. So in our same situation, if we want to find the standard deviation, we would calculate square root of n times p times q. So n is 20, p is 0.8, and q is 1 minus 0.8, which is 0.2. So I'm multiplying those three numbers together and then taking the square root. And if I do that on a calculator, I get an answer of 1.7889. So that would be my standard deviation.